If you think penguins are cute and cuddly animals, you're wrong. The big media likes painting these animals as ice lovers living near the poles, where they form lifelong loving relationships with their partners and are the perfect parents. In reality, most penguin species live in tropical or temperate regions. They frequently cheat on their partners, love their neighbors no matter the gender, and penguin mothers, if they lose their chick, they will kidnap another penguin mother's baby. With those feathers ruffled, let's begin the myth of the penguin. Even though scientists know there are over 45,000 species of spiders, they are not sure if penguins are 17 or 19 if you count them by species, not by individual numbers. And you'll find these flightless birds anywhere from Australia to Africa. But the entire species of penguin is a huge prank or scam. In reality, the penguins that we now know as penguins aren't actually penguins. Originally, the name penguin referred to the great auk, Penguinus impennis, a species of penguin that went extinct in 1852. This seabird was native to Newfoundland, Canada. It had a passing resemblance to the black and white avians we now know today as penguins. The word possibly comes from the Welsh phrase penguin, which means whitehead. It was the only modern species in the genus Penguinus, and the only penguin. It was the one that went extinct in 1852, and it's not even closely related to what we know now as penguin. This species was discovered later and so named by sailors because of their physical resemblance. The great auk was white and brown, and the penguin is white and black. They look the same but are not penguins, similarly to how this resembles Tom and Jerry but are not Tom and Jerry. They are itchy and scratchy. Growing only to a height of 10 to 12 inches or around 30 centimeters, blue or little penguins are native to Australia, New Zealand and Tasmania. On the opposite pole we have the emperor penguin, the largest species of penguin native to Antarctica. They can grow upwards to 50 inches or over 1 meter. In 2014, scientists discovered the 37-million-year-old remains of a colossus on Seymour Island. Based on their findings, researchers estimated that the massive bird would have been 6.5 feet tall and would have weighed more than 250 pounds. The fastest species of penguins are the gentoo penguins. They can swim, not run, with speeds of 22 miles per hour or 36 kilometers. Penguins can also jump. Leaping in the air allows penguins to escape the clutches of would-be predators, including orcas or leopard seals. They rely on air bubbles, which they wrap around their bodies to propel themselves above the water, much like ships, torpedoes, or dolphins. The Adeline penguin, native to Antarctica, can leap up to 9 feet in the air. The emperor penguins can leap around a foot and a half, just half a meter. And the emperors and Adeline are the only penguins that live in cold places, both in Antarctica. In a study published in 2013, scientists from France and Scotland showed that the emperor penguins have the highest feather density. They stay warm by keeping their outer plumage at a lower temperature than the air around them. This helps them gain back heat through thermal convection from the air, using the source either the sun or the rest of the herd. Species that reside in hotter climates, such as the African penguin or the Galapagos species, have several methods for coping with hot temperatures. Both species stay cool by panting, similar to dogs. They ruffle their feathers or spread their wings to chill out. As a peculiarity, to replenish sun-damaged feathers, they molt twice a year versus once a year the norm. If you look closely, you'll notice that the African birds have a pink patch around their eyes. This patch contains a gland that helps them regulate body temperature, which, when it gets hotter, the penguins' bodies send more blood to the glands. The emperor penguin break more records. They are the deepest divers of them all. Regularly, penguins dip to 30 or 60 feet, 10 or 20 meters, but the emperors can hold their breath for 20 minutes and regularly go to 1,700 feet, and at least one emperor penguin was seen going down to 6,081 feet. Also, the emperor penguin is the longest fasting bird, not penguin, longest fasting bird of them all. While female emperor penguins go on a 2-month hunting trip, the males protect and keep warm the newly laid eggs by sheltering them in a sack of feathered skin called the brood pouch. Surprisingly, male penguins eat nothing for up to 115 days until the mummies come back. The mummies regurgitate food to their chicks, not their mates. Then they're free to leave their young and can head to the sea to find something to eat. The penguins' eating habits vary by region. The ones living in warmer climates eat smaller fish or krill, squid, cuttlefish. The ones living in colder climates eat bigger fish. A single penguin can eat up to 30 fish a day. Don't think at tuna fish, think at small fishes. Emperor penguins famously huddle to survive frigid Arctic winters. To ensure the birds in the middle of the group don't overheat, they switch positions every 30 to 60 minutes on rotation. And like all other penguin species, the emperors have arteries in their legs to adjust blood flow as the temperature changes in response to the temperature of their feet. To regulate temperature, penguins have a gland near the base of its tail, providing waterproof oil. Penguins spend several hours each day covering their feathers with this oil and give extra attention to the task before swimming. As earlier mentioned, penguins molt. The molting processing is called catastrophic molting, not because they die afterwards, they live 15 to 20 years. It's named that way because all the feathers fall at once. They don't lose their feathers on a wing or gradually, it just... Penguins always molt on land or ice. They lose their capability to swim. Being unable to go into water and hunt, they will lose up to half of body weight. The molting and regrowth taking several weeks. Also, when chicks hatch, they don't have grown-up feathers. They are soft and cuddly. They depend on their parents to bring them food and keep them warm until waterproof feathers replace their fluffy down coats. Also, penguins can control the blood flow to their extremities in order to reduce the amount of blood that gets cold, but not enough so their extremities freeze. That funny sliding on ice that penguins do is called tobogganing, similar to what you do on the playground. This technique helps the penguins to travel easier longer distances. Also, scientists remarked the fact that almost half of tobogganing is made for fun, not for travel. The process of jumping out of the water is called porpoising, and while porpoising, not to waste time, the penguins also breathe. When the chick hatches, it immediately starts calling, so its parents will learn to recognize its voice. A group of penguins are called colonies or rookery. A group of young penguin chick is called a crash. A group of penguins in the water is called a raft. About 75% of a penguin's life is spent in water, where they do all their hunting. Penguins do ingest a lot of seawater. They don't have gills like sharks to just release the salt water as they ingest it. What they have are supraorbital glands behind their eyes. These glands filter out salt water and they spit it, sneeze it, or just drip it from their beaks. Most penguins live in the southern hemisphere. The Galapagos penguin is the only penguin species that ventures north of the equator in the wild. Large penguin populations can be found in countries such as South Africa, Argentina, Chile, Australia, New Zealand, and no penguins live in the North Pole, not natively. If somebody took a penguin to the North Pole, there is a penguin in the North Pole, but not native to the North Pole. There's another mythos that came from cartoons, that of the polar bear and the penguins living and avoiding or hunting each other, but they don't live in proximity. In documentaries, you always see the polar bear hunting for sea lions. Yellow-eyed penguins, or hoiho, are endangered penguins. Native to New Zealand, their population is believed to be around 4,000 strong. On the other pole, Antarctica's emperors are so numerous they can be counted from space. Their colonies have been located by looking for brown patches of penguin poo on satellite images. These studies reveal that there are twice as many emperors as was thought. In contrast, the species living near humans face threats on all sides, from overfishing and oil spills to feral cats, so they tend to be less numerous. The Galapagos penguin numbers fewer than 2,000. On a funnier side, Adeline penguins love rocks. They use them to make nests, and rocks don't grow on trees. So they make a barter with males that are willing to give them rocks for nature pleasures. Pebble promiscuity is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to intimate shenanigans. They cheat each other. Their intimate practice is so weird that the books written on the subject were either banned or placed on do not read lists or read with supervision, and are not mentionable on YouTube. They are just too shocking for the public to know. You couldn't think at worse things. Penguins are a vindictive species and quite resourceful. In a zoo in Edinburgh, after another exposition was opened next to the penguins, and became more popular, the penguins got cranky and started a dirty strike, throwing poop at visitors. The species that was near them was also white with black, cuddly, carrying babies in a pouch, panda. Except Kowalski, Private, and Rico, there are no penguins in Madagascar. Most don't live in Antarctica. They evolved during a heatwave, and the oldest known penguin lived in New Zealand, when the surrounding ocean was like a warm bath. By 40 million years ago, giant penguins roamed Peru. To this day, over half of the world's penguin species prefer temperate or tropical climates, and the Galapagos penguin lives on the equator. Of the 17 to 19 species, Emperor and Adele penguins are the only ones that are found in Antarctica, as I said earlier. Weird because they are not used to danger from land animals, they have no fear for human tourists. Penguins are one of about 40 species of flightless birds like rheas, cassowaries, kiwis, emus, ostriches, and most of these flightless birds live in the southern hemisphere. Penguins also use gastroliths, or stomach stones. They swallow small pebbles and stones with their food, and scientists believe that the stones may help grind up and digest their food. Also, they may add extra weight to help penguins dive deeper. Penguins don't have teeth. They use their beak to grab and hold prey. They have spines on the roof of their beak to help them to get a good grip. Penguins even have spines on their tongues. When compared proportionally to the weight of the parent birds, penguin eggs are smaller than any other bird species. A penguin eggshell represents 10 to 16% of the weight of a penguin egg, most likely to minimize risk of breakage in rough environments. And in closing, around 1 in 50,000 penguins is not born black and white, but white and brown. These penguins are called Isabellian penguins. They live shorter lives than black and white penguins because black and white, it's used as a camouflage. If the penguin is in water and the prey is underneath the penguin, looking up, the prey will see white, or the sky will think it's the sky. Looking from above the prey, will see black. Missing this camouflage, they are seen faster and have shorter lives. Also, females don't want to mate with them. That's rough. And that's all for today. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. And until next time, I'm Alex, and beware of the falling apples.